God, Ogu, the pale fox, pale meaning white, he gets impatient, Set gets impatient, and leaps forth out of his mother's womb. And he becomes nothing but the vomit of the mother's womb. They're talking about scientific equations here of a mutated person. So in this it says you can have this work out of London, England, coming from the white boys. You can have, which we already knew, you can have a God, you can get in here in meditation. You can get in here and you can have doing sex based on both of you elevated to a higher region of the pineal gland, the spine, the black dot, the pineal gland, the highest manifestation, the crown chakra, all of this opening up. When you get in having sex, you can shoot it up and you can have a child of doing sex, a child of Horus, or Heru, which would be Jesus, who was patterned after that, which is you can have a God child. Or you can take these things up the chakras, and once this crown chakra and this kundalini is open, you can direct this energy on back down the chakras, which you have 7 chakras. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The first 3, this is the one below the navel, disregard the drawing. These 3, these are your lower chakras, right? You can direct these things back here and you can have a baby off of them lower chakras. Uncle Muhammad told you that the man was created out of the lower nature of the black man. Check? All scientific. Whole big old book. You can get it called Metaphysics of Sex. Metaphysics of Sex. Julius Evola. Metaphysics of Sex. Talking about sex tantra. Sex tantra. White boys are doing it now in their societies. You're having sex on a high level. When you're opening up with yoga, breathing, kundalini, pineal gland, becoming on a high level, you're having sex. They're trying to regraft themselves back into black. Can't do it. Look. Now, all you can do, create it off of these lower chakras. Now, Ledbetter, in his book, The Astro Body, as well as the Astro Plane, says that whatever it was, he said that the black magicians of Atlantis. Now, what does that mean? That means the black people from way back then, you're going to say, get out of these code words. He says that they used to fool around with them lower chakras. Once they had opened up, once you activate the kundalini, fool around, you can direct it down. They used to fool around with those lower chakras. So now they're talking about the fall of man is actually a scientific code of how, not the fall, because it had to happen. We get into this argument, he's right. It had to happen. But they talk about this set typhon is a scientific code for a sexual tantra practice where they started creating stuff off of the lower chakras. So he says you can have a child of Set, a child of Horus, or a child, that other child. Let's see what that other child is. He means Set. Well, let's see what that other child is. Let's see what that other child is, baby. Let's see here. The child of Horus in this sexual tantra practice. Now later on, this other way we do it becomes a practice. Remember now, the Egyptians or the Africans, they did everything within the confines of a spiritual manifestation or some type of practice. You understand? Now, so whatever happened way back then, it became a practice. A practice enough to populate enough people to have this European of what we have today. Okay, you understand? Everybody with me? Anybody unclear? Okay. Or this other child. Let's see what this other child is. Or that other child. Now a footnote. Say turn to page 1 something. These are some notes coming from England now. Coming from England. I'll give you some books to refer to this because you can't get this stuff. But I'll give you enough stuff to set you on your way if you want to document it to your friends. Or that other child, a non-human being with supernormal powers and intelligence. You see, if he's a soulless one and he's a non-human being, the only thing he got going for him is a high intellect. Don't let nobody fool you. The devil is smart. He got to be smart to put God in hell. You understand what I'm saying? He outsmart you every day. Are non-human. Now we're getting ready to get down now.
Go ahead.
Now, we're getting ready to get down. Okay. So now we see that this practice is going on. This whole war that's going on, this mysterious war with this whole Set typhon and the Set worshippers, is a group of people that started producing mutated children from a sexual practice of the sexual tantra. Sexual tantra is a good thing at first because the gods used to do it to procreate other gods. Now, all of a sudden, the people start procreating this other child, non-humans, because hue means color.
That's right.
Hue means color. Now, so now we understand. Now Gardner, Alan H. Gardner, who translates part of that Hieratic Papyrus, has a book that never got across the Atlantic and never was translated into English called Abduction Extraordinaire. And in that he says, above Kemet, below Kemet, normal people. Above Kemet, you're talking about that Asia, on up, abnormal people coming around off the hieroglyphic. He's a hieroglyphics expert. You can't get it, but you just got to understand the name of these people if you want to document things. Alan H. Gardner. I think his grandson is Martin Bernard. So we understand how he's able to. Once he's woke up by Dr. Ben, he's able to go into it and write all these books. His great-grandson or grandson, one of the two. Now, got a book called Abduction Extraordinaire. Now, this sexual practice, let's get a little information on this. If things are created from the lower chakras, right? That means that because it wasn't created from the higher chakras, that meant that it could never have something that was on the higher chakras, which is the highest part of man. It could never have this part fully because it wasn't created from that part. You understand? It's calcified. You see, and Richard King tells you, who is a medical doctor, that when it gets to this part up here, this part, it ain't nothing but a big old rocks, like rocks. It ain't nothing but a big old bone to the white boy. It's calcified. So now, we're talking about astral projection, and we're talking about going to your higher self. When he gets to a certain level, when he's meditating, when he gets to that highest part, he can only hear voices. He can never step on into the other realm. You understand? Which the other realm, this is called the astral plane, which all people inhabit this part until they go to other levels. But he can never go nothing but the highest part of the astral plane, which is the sub-plane or the lowest plane, which is us. Then there's another realm called the Devashanic plane, which is the heaven plane. He can't dwell up there. He can't do it. Because in order to dwell up here, we are what you call the microcosm of the macrocosm. As above, so below. Understand? As above, so below. Now, if we're the microcosm of the macrocosm, since he was created on such a low part, what's this? Okay, well, we'll get to some of that. Since he's created on such a low part, he can only go to the highest part, which is the sub-level, which is the very, let's say, halfway to the pineal gland, where he can get up in there enough to astral project and go to other regions. But he cannot go on into the black dot, which is the eye of Horus, which is that good stuff, which is the heavenly gland, which is the Devashanic plane, which is the higher heaven planes, the highest plane being the highest plane being the Sirius. Because when we say this heaven plane, I have done some work to say that on this part is the sun behind the sun, which is Sirius. You understand? So, now, let's go into a little bit of Elijah Muhammad's Yaku, because we got a story too. So we got to use all our brothers and sisters. I always say, Charles Fitz say, you get the white man stuff, then let's look at what the black people are saying. Well, you know the whole Yaakov story about Yaakov took a group of people to an island of Patmos, and by grafting, he grafted this white man. You understand that? Well, this, and he said he was created off of the lower chakra. But he also said that since he's created and he's created on this earthly realm, when he dies or whenever, he can only go back to this earthly realm. But now this earthly realm, the highest region of this earthly realm is right outside of the earth, which is the lunar region, which is the astral region. So this white boy can only go to that part.